or it's very challenging, you have to understand this is what's so important. It has absolutely nothing to do with the company of why it's not working. It has nothing to do with the compensation or if support's amazing or support's going through challenges. It has nothing to do with our industry. It has nothing to do with the travel industry. It has nothing to do with any of that. Now, it does again doesn't mean that it's perfect. It doesn't mean, in fact, there could be some things that are even not perfect. But what people do that know how to build is they can build through almost anything, unless the company shuts down, of course. But even then, they pivot and people follow them to the next thing, and they're the top again over and over and over. It almost doesn't matter if the company goes out of business when you understand how to build the business the right way and you build trust and you build a database and you build a network and you build relationships and some people like you enough to go to the next thing. If you know, and again, by the way, I'm not saying MWR is doing great, sports getting better, everything's awesome right now, or not awesome, but good enough. It's great. So here's why do I say all this? Because when you literally put the focus on, okay, if it's not working, then the one thing that we get to do, and I'm going to use those words, we get to do, is we get to shift the perspective. Because our perspective sometimes is leading us to an old programming, an old way of what's truly just not working. But here's such a beautiful thing about us being human beings and having a legacy and having creating freedom and creating purpose and raising kids for those of you that are parents or grandkids or in a relationship is the most important cool thing that we get to do is grow us, grow your your lid of skill, your lid of leadership, your lid of more capacity, your lid of more possibility, your lid of courage, your lid of freedom, your lid of, and here's a big one, your lid of, I can do this. In fact, I'm going to do this. In fact, I'm going to reach diamond. I'm going to reach ruby. And that is the lid of mindset. And that word mindset is the most numbing word in the history of human language. I understand. But it also, at the same time, because it's the most numbing word, especially when you're in our industry for a long time, the word focus, the word goals, the word mindset, blah, blah. But really, it's not blah, blah. The boring words is really the ones you want to act as if it's the most amazing thing you've ever heard in your lifetime. And it's the number one thing that you need to press into right now in your life, right now and forever. It's the number one thing that can expand your future, your legacy beyond you. The number one thing that helps you break rank and hit the goals is when you shift that mindset, you raise that lid of perspective of I got this, I can do it. I'm going to be great at enrolling people. And if you're not now, this is something that's really a big gut punch for me. If something's not working now, I went through a leadership training, 14 hours a day, 3 to 4 days in a row. And then the next month we did the same thing. The next month we did the same thing. And then we did coaching in between. It was the hardest, longest thing. And by the way, you're present on a Zoom. You're present on a Zoom the whole time. You don't get to do this, right? You just don't do this when you're on a Zoom with this leadership. You just don't do that, right? And the one thing, there's so many one things. I love to say one things, but there was about 1,000 one things. But the really big one thing that I learned through this whole thing is, and and is if something's not working, pray that someone's going to give you feedback. And and more importantly, pray that when you get that feedback, or feedback can come in the form of how many of you are enrolling two, one, let's just say two people a month. Okay. You don't have to put in the comments if you don't want right now. But how many of you, just answer that question to yourself right now. How many of you are enrolling two people a month? How about two people a week? If you're not enrolling at least one or two people a month, you know what that is? With love, it's feedback. Does it mean you're a bad person? Does it mean you can't do it? Heck no. Don't listen to that crappy mindset. Go, okay, that's feedback for me right now. It's not working. It's okay. But if you don't really, and feedback means, and sometimes people will verbally say, okay, you are over talking, you're overthinking, you're analytical. And again, someone may not be that direct necessarily. Usually the feedback comes in a form of your finances aren't working, your bank account's not working, you're not hitting the rank. That's feedback. But please hear me when I say this. The biggest lie that we will get in this industry, the biggest one is you're not good enough. It's not for you. Maybe God didn't call me to this. Maybe you don't have what it takes. Maybe you're too whatever, too old, too young, too this, too that, right? And I'm just telling you, it's completely not true. And some of you are like, well, you don't know me, Tom. If you're a human being, you were born and you don't have a massive medical, mental, I doubt any of you do, right? Now, yes, depression, sometimes fear, that, some things we go through, ups and downs and mental health and all that kind of thing. And I'm not diminishing that, by the way, at all either. But there's a path to win in every single circumstance of every single struggle that you're all going through, including me, right? It's such a path to get through. And that's what makes this business model and this industry, and by the way, entrepreneurs, but that's what makes it so unbelievably beautiful when you go through what feels like I'm just going to say it. Oh, I'm so TMI. Like when you literally are swimming in poo, like it feels really crappy and smelly. And like, am I ever going to get out of swimming in the crap? And then all of a sudden you come out of it and you're swimming in Bora Bora. That feeling of crossing over and hitting that rank of going through all the tough, hard stuff, I don't know if I'm good enough, and then you are. I don't know if I can do this. I'm too young, too old, but then you do. And then you hit that rank. And I'm telling you, if the harder the pain, the longer it takes, it's almost better. I don't know if you've noticed, but even right now, when I'm in Turkey and I'm getting recognized, even for the 100K club or whatever it is, people don't know, but I'm literally internally crying because of all of the depth of the crap that Kim and I have gone through, the struggles, more than any of you. I don't even have time. I'm not going to go through it all right now. Like the ups and downs I've taken my family through and all the challenges. And by the way, just side note, most of those challenges were self-inflicted with my own negative crap or bad perspective that I thought was true, but it wasn't. So, what we get to shift if you want to win for your family, forget network marketing, forget MW. If you want to win in life, no matter what vehicle that you do, you get to figure out how do you have the most unbelievable championship perspective possible that you were born to create. Period. And I know it's so simple, right? But this is the hard part that no matter what it takes. And this is why it's like there's a book that I was listening to yesterday, or a video. Uh, oh man, the Big Leap, the Big Leap. Can someone find that book for me, ChatGPT it? Who's the author of the Big Leap? That perspective is, I was listening to it and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's me. Like I would get to 1 million a year and then I would figure out a way to sabotage it because I have an abandonment sabotage perspective from the past. And if I always have that perspective, so some of you are like, well, woe's you getting to $1 million. It took a long time even to get to the $1 million a year, a long time to even think that I could. And when we finally started hitting those numbers and high six figures annually, it was always like this up and down kind of a thing. So we all have a limited, no, I shouldn't say that. Many people take on a limited perspective, or they're struggling with something. But the cool thing is, and we're going to get into some coaching right now. The cool thing is thank you so much for putting that up there. Yeah, I'm going to go through that right now because it's really good on for those of you that sabotage yourself when you don't know it. Like you just keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, but you're not, because you keep doing the same thing. You wake up every day doing the same thing when you're prospecting people and you're not super hungry. I was listening to I was listening to Tom Brady, the number one all-time best quarterback in the history of mankind, debatable, right? And I'm telling you, he is an awkward runner. He is not the most athletic quarterback of all time, not even close. I bet Tom Brady is not in the top. I'm going to be really think this through. I bet he's not in the top 500 most athletic quarterbacks in the NFL. 500. How does someone that I don't believe, and maybe he's the top 100, who knows, but it's definitely not in the top 100, I don't think, of athletic humans. But his tenacity and his perspective, his courage, he said, he's like, I just was so hungry to learn what I don't know that I don't know. And I want to learn from, and if someone's doing better than me, how do I learn what they're doing so I can do what they do? And so I can take on that championship kind of perspective so I can win. All right. You guys ready to have fun? So let's talk about it. Let's have a fun conversation. And I want you guys, I want this community to be the one that's like, I have a question. And please, no product questions for this training at least. Let's get into really the meat of the number one thing that I can do to help you increase your rank. Okay. And grow your future and get to your income goals so you can have whatever your goal is and your freedom that you're looking to achieve. Okay. And let's be the team that rushes, like I used to with my mentor, Danny Johnson, back in the day, whenever, like, you know what, you know how you would be fast. Okay. I want you to visualize what I did. I was broke, but I still paid her $200 back then. That's like $400 or $500 now for a 40-minute session. It was 200. It was your beginning rate. It bumped up to almost, I think, 400 plus 600 bucks. Maybe Marla knows. Marla was her assistant, by the way. Marla, do you know what her hourly 40-minute rate ever got up to?
It was, I mean, it was pushing 1,000 by the end of when I was there.
Because she didn't want to do it anymore. I remember she kept raising her prices.
Yeah.
And she used to tell us that too, which is really weird. She used to do that. But she got to almost $1,000 per 40 minutes. And I'm telling you, she pretty much was like a broken record with me, but I needed to hear it. And so when she would do these group calls, I would always push my hand would be up first, like, okay, I have a question. Because I wanted to leverage like I was one-on-one so I didn't have to pay for the $200 per 40 minutes as much as possible. So I think it's a good idea for you guys to pay a lot of money for someone who's been in the industry for 30 years, who's recruited 10,000 people, made seven figures over and over and become the number one producer or top enroller and rank over and over and over. So who who has a question on how to follow up better, enroll better, find more people better, whatever that may be? Say your first name if you want to unmute. I don't know if they can unmute, Marla.
Yeah, they
Or
can
raise your
unmute.
hand if you know how to figure that feature out, or just put in the comments, I have a question. And then also, if you want to put your questions in the chat, we'll get around to those possibly if we have some time. Who wants to be first? No pressure.
Well, we've already seen a couple in the chat, and so I can call some people out. Michelle Spear, are you around to do chat?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi,
All right.
Michelle.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Are you the one that's brand new?
I've been in it for a few months now. This is the first time I've attended your meeting, but so I've
Awesome.
been,
Welcome.
thank you.
Where are you
Um,
from?
Kentucky.
Kentucky. Awesome. Very cool. How
Yes.
can I help?
Um, I've, like I said, I've been in it for a few months and I'm trying to do all the things, on a daily basis, the things you do to try, the posting and the reaching out and building relationships and all the things. And I get to a point where people are interested and want the information. And then once I give them information on what it is that we do, I either don't hear back from them or they can't afford it or, you know what I mean? I just keep going round and round and round. Like I feel
Okay.
like I'm not getting anywhere. And I don't know if it's something I'm doing wrong when I'm like following up with these people or I don't know. I just feel like I'm hit a brick or something and I don't know how to get out of it or fix
Uh,
it.
Tell me your first name again.
Michelle.
Michelle. First off, I love your courage. I love your good job leading by example here. Are you ready?
Uh,
Okay, so let's have some fun. Okay, so give me an example. How many hours per day can you or are you working this business?
It's hit and miss through the day. I feed it when I can, so probably through the day, probably at least 2 to 4 hours ish, somewhere in there.
Okay, so we'll put 3.
Okay.
On 3 hours, how many people are you actually asking if they're open to take a look at this model or the business? Do you know those numbers roughly?
I don't know exactly, because I've post stuff in like work from home groups and stuff too, and then people respond there, and that can get a lot of people. I don't know. I've had probably 30 or so people in one of those at one time that I had to try to respond back to, but like I said, every time I get so far, then it just stops. So
Okay. Well, let's go through it from start to finish then. Okay, so give me a good example of someone that you thought's pretty sharp. You like them. You saw their you saw them on social. They responded with something, or you responded. Take me through someone that you can remember the process and what you did and what you said and how you kind of led through it. Can you share that with me?
I can't remember off the top of my head specifically because I have so many people, but like
Give me a rough
um
example of what you do then, just in general.
like they'll ask, say I post something or whatever about what we do, then they're curious and want to know what I'm doing. So then I tell them that I'm in the travel business, and but we're not travel agents, and we get to save money on our travel for our our own travel, and we get to share that with other people and help them do the same thing basically. And then I end up sending something along those lines, and then I end up sending one of the videos that you all have posted to share with people, and then I wait a day or so, and then I follow back up with them, generally just saying something along the lines of, have you had a chance to check out the information I sent? Like, what are your thoughts? Do you have any questions? That kind of thing. And like I said, either they will respond back and say, I'm not interested, or they are and they can't afford it, or they'll just like ghost me. So I don't know.
Okay, I can help with that.
Okay.
Is Michelle on video or no, Marla?
No, but I can turn my video on.
Oh, that'd be awesome if you
Okay.
can,
Hang on.
because I just
Oh,
see my big head on the screen.
I
Um,
don't know
Hey,
if it's
Tom,
working.
it sounds like she's getting, I've seen this a lot where they're connecting with strangers on social media. Is there a way that we can talk about, like, how would you handle,
yeah,
not necessarily
absolutely. Nate.
somebody that know, likes, and trusts us, but strangers that we're connecting with?
Mm.
And I have several people on my team that have the same issues she's having.
Can you
People
bring
are
up?
asking for information.
Yep, yep. And I don't think my video's working. I don't know if you can see me or not, but
Yeah, you look
yeah, a lot
great.
of
We,
the sorry, a lot of the people are strangers because I have reached out to people that I know here and there, but I've been hesitant to do that because I've done 10 million different things in the online industry in the last 10 years and like never got very far with any of them, and I feel like I'm bugging all the people. You know what I mean? I don't want to bug anybody anymore. So I am trying to reach out to people I don't really know, and I don't know if that's the problem, or maybe I'm just approaching it differently when I'm talking to these people I don't know, if that makes
Mhm.
any sense.
Yep, I can. Yep, absolutely. Nate, what do you got? I feel like you got a word for him. By the way, for those of you that don't know Mr. Nate Stir, Nate's probably one of the best connectors that I know. He's a networker, like not, he knows how to network and build relationships and connect with humans, and he has phenomenal people skills. And that's why everybody loves Nate. Like, I want to be like Nate one day. So, Nate, can you share some thoughts for Michelle? And by the way, I'm glad you're here, but I didn't know you were here. Can you share like what you would do to how you cultivate those relationships of people you don't know
yeah,
already?
one thing that's important, and I'm preaching to myself here because I try to focus on is instead of just immediately sending them the information they're asking for, they're like, hey, yeah, send me info. And then we get excited. We're like, well, here's the video. Take a look at it. And then let's get back on the phone. I think it's important to establish a relationship in a quick way,
Hmm.
not okay, a week, 2 weeks. But how do you do that? Jump before you send information to people, ask, jump over on their profile, spend 30 seconds to 60 seconds, learn a little bit about them. Now respond in a way that lets them feel seen. Ask them
Hmm.
a question, say, hey, you ask for information before I shoot some stuff over. I just want to find out what your goals are. Are you now, this kind of depends on the post that you made, like, was it about travel, was it about money? But you can still kind of like form this reach out in the same way depending on your post. But were you more interested in just getting better travel deals, creating an income on the side in the travel space, or a little bit of both? And so because you're asking them a key question, now a lot of people are just going to say both.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can ask them, what are your goals? Okay, since you'd like to earn some income, what type of extra income would you like to be making in a year? And then now you're done. They're going to answer you. Now, if they're not willing to answer those two questions, there's really no reason to send them the information. And so you're getting to know them. You're establishing a relationship. So
Mm-hmm.
you can ask those two questions and also somewhere in there mention what you noticed about them. Say, hey, Frank, thanks for asking information. I noticed you have a beautiful family, that picture, on the beach or whatever. So mentioning things like that helps them feel seen. This is
Mm-hmm.
a key step that a lot of us miss on social media. We go immediately to, they ask for the information. Here it is. Let me know when you're ready to jump on the phone and answer questions. So it's like walking into a house to sell pest control, and you immediately sit down and start saying, "Okay, guys, here's the pest control that we have." Instead of, "How long have you guys lived here? This is a beautiful home. Where did you get this couch?"
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of all I got right now, for time's sake, is become genuinely interested in other people. Write this down, y'all. Everything you do, instead of just immediately sending them the information, when you do a reach out, when you're on the phone with somebody, when you're in any space, become genuinely interested in other people. And you can do that quickly. And that one extra little thing, when you put that in front of, okay, now that I know what your goals are, I think I have something that might be able to help. It may not be for you, but here's the video. Take a look at it. It's less than 5 minutes, or it's 30 minutes, or whatever the one is you want to send. You want to add to that, Tom?
That's so good, buddy. I think the key word that we should all get tattoos. Even I'm not a tattoo guy, by the way. I'm just kidding. Genuinely interested. Genuinely interested. Like, did anybody ever get in trouble when they were little kids? I don't even know. You guys are probably old enough, but you had to write on the board something, right? I will not throw erasers at the teacher anymore. Genuinely interested. We got to write that down 100 times. That was so good, Nate. I want to share a couple quick things. Okay. First off, Michelle, are you ready for some
Mm-hmm.
thoughts on this too? Some different perspective is this. Who It's really important to understand who you are. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you could, the one thing that we can control is shifting our mindset and our perspective. Uh, Shifting our mindset and our perspective. Okay. Here's what I caught in literally, Michelle, less than 20 seconds with you. Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Strangers. I'm doing 10 million different things. I don't want to bug people. Oh, what did it say? I don't want to. Oh, shoot, I missed that one. Anyways, I caught like two or three others. I was just chicken, can't even read my own writing. But see, that's your perspective of who you think you are and what you think you're thinking and what you think they're thinking. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
true. Here's
Okay.
the thing. You're not bugging them. You're giving them a chance of a lifetime. You're not pitching them, you're not selling them, you're not trying to get them in some kind of weird thing, you're not trying to save them. You're literally giving them a chance to completely transform and change their life. You're literally, and again, I've said this 1,000 times, but some of you need to hear this 1,000 times like I had to. You have to treat yourself like you literally are you're a founder or a CEO of your own company, like you're no different than Oprah Winfrey. And as you're connecting with people online in the groups and the different ways that you're doing it, you literally create that perspective, that mindset, that belief system that you are literally a business owner giving them a chance. And I know it's easier said than done, but it is the more you shift into that kind of mindset, the more that you'll come across with more posture and more confidence and more clarity. And when you do that, people can feel your authority. They will feel your leadership. They'll feel the energy and then that can shift to a little bit more people responding back to you. Doing what Nate was saying, genuinely interested with a confidence mindset, lights out. So for the rest of your career here, Michelle,
Mm-hmm.
you're not a annoying chihuahua at a dog park. You are a beautiful golden retriever who's friends with everybody. When you like literally the thing that I do is I am a golden retriever. And if you're a golden retriever on social media, everybody's your friend. No, you'll never use the word stranger again. and you'll be genuinely interested in people. If people are on social media, I literally just think that I'm gonna be their best friend. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That was very helpful.
I got a couple more for
Oh,
you
okay.
because
I'm
so
sorry.
good. By the way, this is going to help. Like 90% of the people are doing the same thing, having the same mindset. I promise you, it's crazy. I'm going to give you something that took me about 15 years to figure out. Most people that join you, or maybe a lot of you, are wanting out of comfort and out of simplicity to lead with travel savings, leading with what makes physical sense, like it's right in front of you. Like, look at this. You can physically see that this is an iPhone, right?
Mhm.
You could see it. Most of you are leading with the product. And here's the crazy part. As we get more into the launch, we're going to be able to lead with the product. In fact, 80% of our team will probably lead with the benefits of the product. So there's nothing wrong with that. Let me be really, really, really clear. But for those of you that want it to be 1,000 more simple, the reason what Nate was saying was so good is I'm like, are you more interested in travel or making more money with people that want to travel? By asking that question, you might be blown away with, oh no, I want to make money. More people will lead more towards, oh no, how do I make money with travel instead of just travel? Because if you're giving too much information about discount travel or this and product and that, then you're going down a sales process education, putting
Mhm.
all the weight on the discount of travel. And by the way, we can back it here because we got one of the best travel apps in the world. But I like out of enrolling 10,000 people, I've just learned it's a lot simpler and more duplicatable to lead with when someone's like, oh, I would like both, like what Nate was saying. Great. What type, and then I would ask more questions. What type of income are you looking to achieve? Like if you can make any kind of income in 1 year from now and you can have more leverage and freedom, what type of income would be ideal for you? And so that's where when the number one way to do what Nate was talking about, to be genuinely interested, is to do as best you can to ask more questions that are more curiosity questions that are genuine in nature. And
Okay.
the last question I have for you, Michelle, and all of you, and it's a broken record and it's boring. And most of the generic trainers won't teach you this because it's literally the biggest secret to network marketing. But they can't tell you this because you won't pay them for them to tell you the root of really what people need to be genuinely interested in humans. It's how many of you, put in the comments again, how many of you have read How to Win Friends and Influence People one time? If you read it 2 times, put two. If you listened to that or audio 3 times, put in the chat how many times, put zero. If you've not read it or listened to it yet, put a zero, would you? Okay, 10 times. Who is that? Of course, Kurt and Nicole. Isn't that it's crazy clue right there? Isn't that crazy? One of the top leaders in our company, one of the best trainers in our team, Kurt and Nicole have gone through it 10 times. Kurt and Nicole probably had a natural higher discernment for people than I did joining this industry. I was raised in Hell's Angel biker bars, literally with the Mongols over there, the Hell's Angel. Like my perspective of people skills was horrific. And I'm not saying any of you have that kind of people skills at 21 years old, but I did. It was horrible. Still working. And I went through that book 10 times. I'm not sorry, 50 times. More on audio, just listening kind of in the car. So it wasn't like super intentional. But
Hey,
when,
Tom.
yeah.
What's up? It's Kirk.
Oh, what up, buddy?
Hey, sorry to interrupt you, but a lot of times, like, of course, Kirk and Nicole, I was horrible at people skills. So I had to develop those. And so I was the nerdy IT guy, right? So I had to read those books because I was so bad. And so the real thing is you have to be willing to do the work, right?
Mm,
So most people aren't willing to do the work to become good, and that's the problem. And I wanted to be good, and I literally I still have my affirmation statements, and I think that's a huge, powerful thing. So when I first started in this industry, I mumbled.
mm,
I didn't project my voice. I didn't look
mm,
people in the eye. I was not confident. And it was over time that I started to develop things. And literally, when I would start speaking on stage, with the first like year or two, I would have to go into the bathroom before I went on stage, and I'd look in the mirror, and I would have these affirmation statements that I would run. I speak clearly. I project my voice. I'm funny. People like me when I talk. I'm doing these. This was my affirmation. This is the areas I was weak. I speak quick. I don't, and so like you always think you're better than you are, and then when you, that's why you don't like listening to yourself when you hear your voice, right? You're like, dude, I don't sound like that, right? Because it's like, because you always, we have a level of self deception that's in us that we don't want to look at sometimes, and so I just wanted to share that because like when you're like, oh, of course, Kirk and Nicole. Well, it's because now Nicole, she was a natural. Okay, she was when she was a kid, she'd get her Bible out after church, and she was like a preacher, right? She would put her Bible on the hamper, and she would give sermons to her family. Her first sermon was, "You think Texas is hot? Go to hell." That's a joke. I just like to put that in there. Nicole was always a little gospel preacher, right? And so but I can tell you where Nicole needed to grow. She's very choleric, which is very not sympathetic in certain areas, and she's very task oriented. So she could come across sometimes as cocky or certain things, and so she had to soften herself, and she did that through reading books and learning. I guarantee Tom is not the same person. Nate is not the same person when he started the industry. They were willing to do the hard work that it takes. So no one comes in this thing. You may fake some people out in the beginning and sponsor some people, but then at some point, if you're not developing and people aren't seeing a true change in you, you're not going to build a big team long term where people are going to follow you.
Boom. That's a mic drop, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, super mic drop right there. And I'm sure Kurt's gonna stick around for some more. So we're gonna keep going with questions. The big key, and there's so many big keys right there, but the word that y'all want to think is self-deception. It's the same thing of your perspective is you believe it to be true, but it's, to be honest, if here's the crazy part about feedback, if it's not working, there's some not truth in that. It's the self-deception that Kurt was talking about. And man, this is the part where I wish I would have not gotten so emotional with feedback or stressed or fearful or anxiety, which turned to depression, ups and downs more than I want to admit it in the past. Because when things aren't working, it doesn't feel good when you're a driven person. You want things to win for your family. So good, Kurt. All right, let's keep going with some Marla.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Nikki. So Nikki Beaver is put a little thing in the chat, so I'm gonna pop her on here.
Can you hear me?
Hey, good morning, Nikki.
Good morning.
Rockstar. What's
that?
Good morning.
Good morning. So I would like to be roasted.
Oh no. I'll bring Kurt back up because no, I'm just kidding. No, we gotta bring not Kurt. We'll bring Nicole up. Thank you.
Roasted, feedback, all the things. So I joined back in November. And this is, definitely not I have zero experience in this space, right? Still working my full-time job. So the amount of time that I'm able to put in this during the week depends. Sometimes it's 1 to 2 hours, sometimes only 1 hour. Over the weekends, I've been putting in at least 4 to 8 hours, depending on what we have going on, if it's kids' sports. So I really try to organize, get a list going for the week so that when I'm done with my day job, it's hard to kind of switch gears and figure out who am I going to contact. So I try to have that list. Sometimes I don't get to it. Sometimes I do. Since I started, I try to attend all of the calls. A lot of times when they're during the week, I just put my earbuds in, turn my, camera off because I'm at work. However, through that, I've changed a lot of things. I'm posting 2 to 3 times a day, trying to stick to, the third business, third, building my brand, building trust, all the things. I go on people's posts, complimenting and doing that, reach outs. Since we've talked a lot about that, I go in and just keeping up with relationships, through, text or messenger or voice message, not necessarily trying to push the business, but just kind of getting my foot in the door kind of a thing. Um, I've been trying to recruit up instead of down, get out of my comfort zone. So I don't know. Yes, there's lots of things I need. I don't know what I need. That's why I say I want to be roasted. I'm afraid to say, like, I guess I don't want to be told that, well, you don't have enough time, you're not going to be successful. Because I know that you can be. Um, I don't know what I need. I go back and forth with my frustration. Like, I'm all in, I'm great, everything's wonderful. And then I get the door slammed to me, 20 times, and I'm like, okay, I suck. So it's like an up and down roller coaster that you talk about all the time. So yeah, I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what I need. I need to be roasted.
Oh my gosh, I got so many good stuff, and I hope Kurt, Nicole, or maybe Nate can pop in here, or even Marla too. Marla was literally the right-hand person of Danny Johnson for so many years, and I keep referring to Danny Johnson because I literally think she's probably one of the best builders I've ever seen in my life. That woman can just create a tornado, and people follow her, and it explodes. Thank you for your courage, Nikki. First off, super exciting. I've got some really good stuff to share with you, but I want to just ask you some quick questions.
Sure.
How many days a week do you work when you're working your job?
My full-time job?
Yeah. How many
Um,
days per week? An hour to 2 hour day.
well, Monday through Friday.
So
I,
five?
huh? Yeah, 5 days.
Five?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to make a big note story. Okay, let me make a note of story. I'll tell you about story in a second here. All right. So 5 days a week, at least 1 hour a day, 5 days a week.
For my
No, no,
full-time
to
job?
work this business,
Oh, for
you
work,
work
yes.
at least 1 hour a
So
day.
at least
Okay. And then 4 to 8 on the weekends, like Saturday or Saturday, Sunday, or just usually one day.
Saturday, Sunday.
Okay, got it. All right. Okay, so how many people are you actually saying, hey, are you open to taking a look, whether it's people you know or people you don't know? How many people are you actually per day or week? How many people are you actually inviting? Do you know?
Yes and no. During the week, that depends. If I try to have at least between 5 to 10 people if I have that hour. Sometimes I'm not able to reach out to that many, depending on how long it has taken to reach out to somebody else, or if they've started messaging back and then I'm with that person. On the weekends, I try to at least reach out to at least, I would say, 20 people each day, Saturday and Sunday, or
Hmm.
more. Um,
So, Nikki, let me try to
mhm.
get beeline real quick
Yep.
question. How many people do you think you invite to take a look throughout the week at least? Let me start there.
Um,
Realistically.
Average. Yeah, I know. It's not great. I would say at least 20 new.
Okay, 20 a
That's
week.
not counting follow-ups.
Got it. Okay. And then the weekend, you say you're able to get a lot more. So you get, what'd you say again on the weekend?
I try to at least get at least 20 each day, Saturday and Sunday.
So do you think realistically you're connecting, you're actually inviting, hey, I saw your post, or what are you open to taking a look? Are you open to looking at what we're doing? And I know I'm not giving the perfect script. I'm just giving an example. So it's 60, you think 60 a week?
Well, no, that sounds like too many. It
I
sounds like
know,
I
that's why
don't,
I don't think that's why I'm asking you. I don't know what it is.
Um, I mean, let's just say, I mean, gosh, let's say half of that. Let's say
Okay.
30.
All right, so let's say 30. So here's the first thing, and I think for all of you, and this is what I've done for when I started coaching, what the one thing, okay, let's say you're increasing your perspective, you're building your courage, you're doing all the things that Curtin and Nate was talking about. Okay, you're getting better with the mindset and the skill. Fine. The one thing that we all can predict is that the time that we are working, we can get in a predictable amount of people that we're inviting per day. I call it the multiplier. The one thing I've learned of all the books that I've ever studied of people that make really big volume in sales or income, I'm talking 20 million to 100 million a year kind of or more. There's one thing that I caught as a pattern over and over and over. And that one thing, I got from the book, Purpose Driven Life, the book, The One Thing. TEDx is easier than two. All the books like Ready, Fire, Aim. I can go on and on. There was one predictable thing that I picked up over and over, and I call it the multiplier. That if you do this one thing, Nikki, and everybody, please hear this. And I'm gonna challenge you, Alicia and Lauren and Nate and myself and Marla too, and Kurt and Nicole, all of us, is that when you really do the one thing that compounds the most and the one thing that multiplies the most, and if you do this one focused thing, almost nothing else matters. The big secret, like Kurt and Nicole, man, when I hear them train, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so good. Like I could be the least skilled network marketer and maybe not perfect people skills, maybe not have all my leadership ability. But the reason why Kim and I have grown so big so fast in so many companies is we just focus like a crazy person on what will actually multiply with as much energy as we possibly can. And it starts with if you have 1 hour per day to work your business, what is the number one activity that's a 10 out of 10? And that's doing what you want your team to be doing. And if all your team was doing it, you'd be one of the fastest growing teams by far. And that is inviting people to watch something that you don't have to do the presentation for necessarily, and following up and getting them started in the business. And so every hour, your minimum, you're inviting 3 to 5 people, preferably 6 to 10 per hour. You're really in that rhythm. And again, when you get into more leadership and taprooting and what Kurt and Nicole teaches, you don't need to be in massive volume necessarily. As you get your confidence, your skill, you can more tap through and do the same instead of personally transacting and personally bringing in volume. You can taproot through relationships and just drive deep too, right? I still like to keep in motion and keep the energy, keep the volume going with recruiting up and leaders and stuff like that too. So that's the one thing that you can predict. And here's what I'd recommend with everybody, because we can hide behind busy, and it's really important to start tracking your numbers. Start
Yeah.
putting down, like if you have a goal of how many people you're going to reach out to and how many people are you going to help your team, taproot through as well. You can make that a goal and just drive deep and, you know, uh, drive deep through there too. And I also want to challenge you too. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. So this isn't a roast, but this is a feedback. Are you ready? The
Mhm.
feedback is I'm going to try to recruit, afraid to say, I'm always back and forth. I'm frustrated. I heard try about 1,000 times. I suck at, and I forgot what it was. I'm like a roller coaster ride. That was literally like about 1 minute. Life and death, Nikki, you are powerful. You're amazing. You look sharp. You sound sharp. You're amazing. If you change that perspective and you work the numbers and you build the confidence and the perspective and the languaging, like what Kurt was saying, how he had to go through that mindset on repeat over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
Because when you start doing that, you will become that 1%er. You will attract recruiting up. It's like, because I heard I'm trying to recruit up. It's not going to work. Trying to recruit up is not going to work. If you're going to recruit up, man, you got to own it. Be like, and recruiting up doesn't mean you have to be this perfect person either. It doesn't mean it's all about you either. It doesn't mean you have to be at a big income to recruit up either, because in one hand, it's about you and having the confidence to recruit up. It's about you to have the authority and know who you are and know what kind of vehicle that you have and know that you have a team of people to support you to help you onboard someone brand new, like a leader like that. Um, but yeah, but it's not about you in having to be this perfect person either when you're reaching out to someone. So, uh, all right, Nicole, or I mean, Kurt, or you want to share anything else, buddy?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you know, whenever you're working too, a lot of times we think about like what we're doing, right? Like, so have you personally brought some people into the team yet? I don't know your business, so have you brought people in?
So, I had three in the very beginning, and then one was just a member.
Okay.
They didn't want to do anything. They had
Okay.
brought their cousin in. They had left right away,
Okay.
and there was another person who I thought was going to be a go-getter. She left. So I haven't had anybody enrolled since December. Well, I have
Okay.
one, but that's it.
So I think some of the what you can do is this is I think one of the things like in our industry is like we get into like where we're just trying to sponsor people all the time, right? And we can sponsor people, but also you're wanting to build relationships with the people that you have coming in and whatever that looks like, right? So and that kind of takes the focus off your results too. Like I'm not getting a result right now, but like if you're running with somebody and you partner and you align with them, hey, we're doing this together, we're going to do this together. You're dream building with them. Hey, we're going to go on this trip. We're going to do this together. And now you find someone that's literally with you and running with you, that's going through the battle with you, right? It's always like when you're by yourself, it's always more like magnified, right? So when I first got in to this industry, my best friend sponsored me. And now he's in my business, just so you know. Now he's in my downline. But it's Raphael, the guy that just went gold. But anyways, we would stay up at night and we would talk. We were brand new, and we would say, "Man, we're going to buy 1,000 acres in the hill country of Texas. We're going to go to Costa Rica. And we would dream build together to where we're almost like accountable to each other for our dreams. And then, like when times did get hard for one or the other, we could be there for each other and build. So my what I would think about, like what I want you to picture is, who do I want to be in business with? Who is my person that's my ride or die? And I want to sponsor that person. And maybe they're not interested right now. Maybe they're just blowing you off. But I have a person, I'm not joking. This person's going to get in soon. He's messaged me 2 or 3 times in the last day, and I thought I was going to put him in. And I pray about getting this guy in. And he's going to get in my business. He's not in there yet, but he's going to get in. And it could be today. I was supposed to talk to him last night. And so visualization is so key of what you want and where you want to go. And so you need to visualize the team you have. You need to visualize the rank you're going to be at coming up in June and what you're going to walk across stage as. I'll tell you a quick story. The first time, and I might get tears talking about it, because when you tie an emotion around a vision and a dream, it's real. And I remember, Tom knows this guy, Orrin Woodward.
Oh, yeah.
He was running a promotion. He had never opened up his house before. And the gold rush that we teach, we had to do that pattern 3 times in like 90 days to go to his house. He has a house on the ocean. I think Tom's been there before. He has a yacht. I've slept on his yacht, 70-foot yacht. And he had never opened up his house before in all the years that he was networking. And I remember Nicole was in the kitchen, where she's supposed to be. Little joke, this messed around. And she was cooking, and I was on the couch, and I had worked all day, and I'd laid my head down, and I'd closed my eyes, and I visualized myself on the end of that dock. The salt, I could smell the salt in the air, the breeze going through my hair, the laughter in the background from all the people that had qualified to go on the trip. And I'm going to get emotional when I say this. I got up from the couch and I said, I got my picture. I got my picture. And I went and I put, I had like 3 or 4 days left to get it done. And I put like 17 people in one day because I had my picture. So right now I want everyone on this call to get their picture, because right now the picture in your head that you have is that I'm not doing this. I can't get people. I can't sponsor up. That's the picture that you have. So I want you, when you go to bed at night, I want you to lay your head down on that pillow, and I want you to picture the team that you have. I want you to picture being on these trips, wherever the trips are, that you and your friends, and you guys are laughing, having a good time, and the people that you want to do life with. You get that picture, and your subconscious mind is 10,000 times stronger than your conscious mind, right? And so there's a book, Orrin, and I think it's called The Ant and the Elephant. I don't know if Orrin wrote that book or if it's a book that Orrin read. Ant and the Elephant. Your conscious mind is an ant, and your subconscious mind is an elephant. And so which one are you feeding? Are you feeding the ant, or are you feeding the elephant? So you got to feed the elephant, your unconscious mind, of where you're going to go. And then that's how you get success. Your brain, the universe, I'm a Christian, but I believe that there's laws in the universe, and if they will align with what you're doing. It's biblical, right? So you have to picture where you want to go and not focus on what's not happening, but focus on what you want to happen.
Yeah. Absolutely. I do have quite a few people that are on my list that they haven't given me the no yet who I do want to run with. And so I do keep, going back with them. But yeah, I see nothing but great things with this. And on my best days, I know that I can. There's nothing stopping me. It's the roller coaster of going back and forth of, okay, well maybe I can't. Or because, my full-time job, this next boot camp, um, really struggling with this because I'm actually presenting for my day job for a state conference in Texas the entire weekend, and I can't get out of it
Hmm.
unless I quit my job. And obviously
Yeah.
that's not going to happen right now.
Yeah.
So I'm struggling with that
Hmm.
because I want to put more time in and I want to be able to focus on this because this is where I want to go.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in my full-time job till I've been in education for 20 plus years. I'm done. And so but then I go back to I just don't have the time. So that's where I struggle with, okay, I need to make it intentional, but then I start spiraling. So I think a lot of us deal with kind of the same thing that I'm saying out loud right now, but being able to have the coaching and be reminded of the things does help, but at the same time I'm like, dang it, like let's go. Like I just give me a couple people and I can lead and run with them.
Hmm.
So yeah, so it's exciting, frustrating, struggling, all the things.
But that just tells me that you're a leader. And a leader is never satisfied. I'm not satisfied where I'm at right now. Tom's
Right.
not satisfied. I know Nate's not satisfied. I'm sure
Yeah.
Nate has some frustrations. Tom has some frustrations. And last week, I put in my entire team, we had one personal come in, right? That's kind of frustrating. So we all get frustrated, but it's how long do you stay in that state? And that's why it's key to be on these calls and to be in books and to be around coaching and mentoring because you can break that state quick and get where you want. I, but this week I put 6 in, but last week I was down because I only had 1 in. So leaders have ups and downs too.
I
Okay.
know.
And so it's just how long do you stay in the down and how fast can you get back in the up? And so that's why it's so key to always be reaching out to your support team when you are down, and then just sharing with them where you're at so they can just give you a different perspective. But everything you're saying is telling me that you're a leader and that you want to lead. So that's a good thing.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank
So
you.
good.
Hi.
Marla's keeping this thing flowing.
I wanted to pop in and just give a little perspective to pop on to what Tom said and then add. So number one, I kept hearing the same thing. I suck, I can't, I'm trying. Um, Danny always used to teach, I will do my best. You walk in with your best in mind. You walk in saying, I will do my best, and that automatically postures. I catch myself even today, this morning. Nope, I will do my best because it just puts you in a different state and it
Mm.
makes you stand stronger. And then, yes, this is personal development. Yes, this is growth for you, but it is also, like Tom said, it is a numbers game. So I remember you saying that when we were in Dallas, that you're like, gosh, I have to present that whole weekend. And it's the weekend of boot camp. I've been thinking about you because I'm like, okay, what does she need to do? What if you didn't have to present? I mean, this is just like pipe dream, okay? What are the numbers that you have to get to? What rank do you need to be at to not present? And I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just saying,
I know.
get all of the fluff, get all of the thinking about how good you are or aren't. What are the numbers, right? Danny would say, tell me, let's figure it out. It is an equation. If you need 300 people on your team, you need to talk to, 1,000 people to get those 300 people. Is it impossible to talk to 1,000 people between now and Dallas? Absolutely not. Do you need extra time? Probably, right? So build out what you want and then say, how much am I willing to give to make that happen?
Yeah.
So it is not impossible for you to be at boot camp.
Right.
I
Well,
mean, I don't
nothing's
see that.
impossible.
Right. So it really is a numbers game. It is personal development. It is being in the right headspace. It is having the right mindset. It is all of those things, but it is also numbers. The more people you talk to with the skill, with the intent, with helping them be seen, the more people you will enroll, because the better you'll get 100 no's. And then after the 100, the next 100, you'll get less no's. And the next 100, you'll get more yeses. So you getting in the reps, number one, will help you build that skill set, but it will also get you people.
Boom.
So I want to encourage you to look and see what is possible, and not automatic. I heard you at the very end say, but I can't. And oh, no, we're getting out of that head, you know, that mindset. And you need to get your date on the calendar for when you're going to quit your job. Might not be before boot camp, but you get the date and say, what do I need to do to get there? What rank, what amount per month? And then you just work those numbers, and you get in and out of your head, and you come on these calls to get right with your head, but you work the numbers.
Come
So,
on.
yeah.
Awesome. So
Absolutely.
good, Marla. Thank you for stepping up,
Thank you.
sharing. Nikki, you're awesome, by the way. Kurt, you're amazing. Just feel so grateful for the leadership that we have here, and the people that are like you, Nikki, who've been here for a little while now, and your steadfastness is inspiring to a lot of people, and your courage to keep figuring it out. And I just have one quick little last thought is that this is for everybody, and I'm gonna pop Nikki off. I want to share something that. And I've not been a big Tony Robbins fan. Not saying he's bad or good, just he's amazing, right? But the one thing that I've learned is you can change your state, you can change your perspective. We all have that ability. Like I don't like waking up and going to work out before coffee, but every day I'm like, how do I jump in the 50-degree pool? It's not 50 degrees anymore because it's hot in California now. But in the winter, I swam through 50 degrees. It's like so uncomfortable. So here's what I've learned to do. And Kurt did this to get on that boat. Every one of you, I want to challenge you with something right now. Is that right now, what your perspective of what may not be working and the mindset that may not be working for you as well. First off, I want you all to hear this. What I heard in just the few questions that are here is I heard a lot of self-protection happening verbiage. We'd use self-protection verbiage, which is telling a long story. Well, I work a lot of hours and I do this and I do that, right? And I do it too, by the way. We all do it. We have this like say less. Uh, the one thing I wanted to just share this, and I don't know if this is coming around with the right context, but don't share the story as much. Like, don't create so much. Just figure out a way to change your perspective, and you could change your state. When I had my car repossessed, here's what I'm trying to say. It's not landing yet. When I had my cars repossessed, I went from literally the most depressed I've ever been in my life, physically, emotionally, mentally. I was laying in beds while Kim was taking care of our 4 daughters, under 4 years old. I just had our second car repossessed that day. We had no money for food. I was a total loser. I was a jerk. I was just not providing. And I just got to the point where I was so mad. And what I learned that humans can do, especially for me, I had to totally trust God and be like, okay, God, how do I do my best? And thank goodness I was plugging into Danny Johnson. But it was that moment where I'm like, I'm going to put one foot in front of my other and I'm going to be the most urgent possible. I'm going to expect everything to work. I have no other choice. I was negative in my checking account, $11,000 because the IRS is just, it doesn't matter. I'm about to tell a long story that doesn't matter. The bottom line is that I know that human beings have the ability to do something immediately. If you are stuck right now, if you're not feeling great about yourself, if for whatever reason any one of you are not hitting the goals that you want to achieve, including me, like what Kurt was talking about, including me and you and all of us, you can shift that perspective fast, but you got to be okay with jumping into doing something harder, which might mean connecting with 2 to 10 times more people. Treating every single day like it's the last day of the month and you only need 1 or 2 enrollments to win $50,000. And if you treat the last day of the month like it's today and you create that urgency, like what Kurt was talking to you about getting on that boat, when you create the urgency, you seek hard things, you connect. All of you, I want you all to start learning your numbers, right? And it's not about a numbers game only, but some of you need to at least get to first base, which is if you're going to work an hour, you got to connect with 3 to 5 to 10 people per hour. And at the end of the week, you've really, because by the way, Nikki, 60 would be really realistic for you to do with the amount of hours that you told me that you can do, by the way. It would be unbelievably realistic while you're building that championship mindset. Unbelievably. Most of you can be connecting with 10 times more people. Whether you're doing it personal or taprooting, doesn't matter. You could be connecting and inviting a lot more people. Okay. All right. Would love you. I'm gonna pause there, and you're amazing, Nikki. So thank you for sharing. Is there a beeline? I feel like there's one more quick beeline that we can wrap it up today. Is there a beeline, quick question? Maybe we could do like a rapid fire with Kurt, Nate, maybe if he wants to pop in there. Is there a couple rapid fire Marlas that we missed?
I'm looking. I
Or is there
don't.
anybody else that wants to share really quickly? Quick question. We can do like a couple quick rapid fire, otherwise we'll wrap it up.
How do you invite people if they are not replying to your posts? And can you finish hey, are you open to taking a look at this? Finish the rest of your invite. Those are the two things in the chat.
I'm gonna beeline what I do
Okay.
as fast as I can. I'd love for Kurt to wrap up with this as well. So the reason why today's wasn't logistically on what to say and how to say it, because 90% of being successful recruiting and duplicating and building this industry is more of a psychological battle. Because once you win that mindset thing, the words become simple or become simpler. That's why if you're in the logic with do this, say this, it won't matter as much if you're just going through the logistics of the perfect framework for recruiting. I've did that for years. I was a skill-based trainer my first 15 years because I logically thought in my head, my beginning years, if I just teach the logistics of the structure, people are going to figure it out. And I learned that it didn't work. It absolutely didn't work. They knew what to do, but it's really more than okay. So with that said, here's what I do. So I'll just do it from a cold stranger perspective. But again, remember, I'm a golden retriever. I don't have cold strangers. If I see someone doing something special, and I'm going to rapid fire this, I'll be like, Carly, oh my gosh, your baby is so beautiful. My wife and I have been following your journey. First off, congratulations. And by the way, I see that you're also rocking, in entrepreneurship, and I saw your last live. I love your courage. I love your boldness. And the reason why I wanted to reach out to you also, congratulations, but also, my wife and I are launching a new project, and we're looking for people just like you that have the leadership skill, that are believers, that are moms. And I just want to see if you're open to taking a look at a new project that Kim and I are doing. So what I am is I'm a talent scout, and I'm always looking for amazing people doing amazing thing. And how I invite people is I make people feel special without schmoozing them up their butt. And I invite them as if I'm an entrepreneur, giving them a chance, not trying to beg them about joining my discount travel program. Period. When I'm in that state, I get a 90+% sure. Tell me about it. How's it work? They're curious because why? Because I saw them, like what Nate was saying. Okay, so that's number one. And if it's a friend, which is where everybody wants to start with, and you don't want to start in cold market. It's a lot slower. It takes a lot longer. Even though it can work, You want to connect with people that you know first. Give them a chance. You're not trying to sell them. You want to give them a chance, even if you've reached out to them 1,000 times. Because when you come at it from the right perspective, it can work. So when I'm reaching out to people I know, I was thinking about you. I'm launching a new project around travel. Are you open? Hey, are you open to taking a look at it? Kind of thing. So it's just real simple. Kurt may have some different words that work really well for him and his team too. But so that's what I do. Give me one more quick second, Marla. So number two, that's what I do. I invite them, and then I'm like, for me, I want to immediately schedule a Zoom. So I don't always do this, but I immediately want to say, hey, great. I'd really like to let's connect on a phone or a Zoom. And I always give them a choice because I really want to find out the heartbeat of what you're looking for. I really want to get to know you more. I want to find out where you're at. I want to find out kind of if it's even the right fit. But either way, I just want to connect. Um, I have some availability, and I'm very assumptive. I don't necessarily ask, or I'll give alternative questions. Are you available in the next couple hours, or is this evening better? And I'm very urgent with now kind of a thing, not next Thursday, blah, blah, blah. So I will invite to a call or a Zoom. And when I'm on that Zoom, I just learn to ask questions, see them. But we can go through that. So that's what I do. I put them on a quick Zoom, And then I'll put them in a chat with some other people on the team, whether it's cross team, down team, up team. And I'll put them in a chat and I'll just say, hey, everybody, I want you to meet XYZ person. She's amazing. She's taking a look at this. And then I would edify my prospect. I would edify the people that I put in the chat. Hey, I want you to meet Lauren Stoller. She is amazing. She is like one of the most tenacious people in the world. She's so much fun. She's a great teacher. She's a great educator. But I wanted her to pop in here because you guys remind me of each other and blah, blah, blah. And I would just go through that with 2 or 3 people, sometimes only 2 people. And so that's like, so it's these layering of I see you and I've got all these touch points. I've already scheduled a Zoom. They're accountable. Hey, I want you to meet this person in a 3-way chat on Facebook, Instagram, or just your phone chat. And then thirdly, oh, hey, by the way, before we jump on a Zoom today, watch this really quick. So it's almost like, by the way, check out this video too. I don't put all the pressure on the video. If you put the pressure on the video, there's no video that's going to do a miracle, y'all, right? We're not in direct response copywriting. The video is meant for a third party. Okay, this thing looks real. Oh, this looks cool. It's not meant for doing all the sales. It's not meant for them going, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm in 588. Let's go. Does that happen once in a while? Once in a while. But it doesn't happen it's few and far between. People enroll because of the process of how you see them, and it's more based on do they like and trust you. So that's what I do. And then that's my quick process. Hopefully it was quick enough. I don't know if, no, you don't. So that's what I do. And again, there's a lot more pieces to that. Kurt, you want to share really quickly? Because it might be different.
Yeah, I mean, everything you said, Tom, is dead on. Everything you just said is what I do. I would say sorry, you'll hear my grandson in the background. He likes to make a lot of noise. But anyway, so you might hear him there.
You're too young to be a grandpa.
I know. But yeah, so I would say the thing that I feel like people don't have when they're doing this is conviction, right? And like even hearing Tom talk right now, as he's even explaining what he does, I can still hear some conviction in his voice, right? Like I can feel belief in his voice. So whenever we're basically talking about these things, you guys hear the same things that we're saying every single time, but you might not have that conviction in your voice. You might not have that excitement in your voice. Are you, so I literally, this is funny because Nicole and I, we literally coach each other. Like, and Nicole's cleric, and sometimes she doesn't like to be coached. She doesn't like to be told what to do. But literally, she was leaving a voice text this morning to a person that we're trying to share the idea with. And I was like, and she leaves it and she's getting ready to send. And I go, no, don't send it.
Oh, no.
I said, babe, I was like, you need to get some more conviction in your voice. You're not being enthusiastic. You got to, and she's like looking at me like, like just getting kind of mad at me, So I made her redo it a couple times and then she sent it. So I think some of those things, and I want to give you, this is a real life, this is just this morning. Okay. So this is a person that we're trying to, let me see if I can figure out where this is. I don't know. I have to go back and try to find this really quick. So this is a guy we've been trying to get in, and basically she's left messages and then she's like, hey, sorry we missed you today. We have been swamped. What are you guys doing with AI? So some of our AI posts that we've done. So she basically says a little bit, but she just gives a little nugget. She's not, and it's a voice text. And then he says, okay, that sounds awesome. And he kind of goes through all the stuff that he has going on and how busy he is. And then happy birthday. And then she sent another text. And so the last thing he says, if you have something to send me, I'm in, is if it's legal and ethical, right? LOL, sounds good. So at that point, she's tried everything to get him on a Zoom call, like Tom talked about, right? So he get him. I'm a big fan of Zoom, but obviously this guy is not going to get on a Zoom with us. So at that point, she sent the 3-minute video and the 30-minute video, because at that point we can only do so much, right, to try to get him in. So we're all of us are playing the same game. It's just being more consistent, following up with people. And so everything that Tom said is perfect. So when in my messages, if someone does respond, A lot of times I'm trying to set up a Zoom, right? So I'm setting up a Zoom with that person. And here's another example of after someone responded to one of my AI posts. And I said, "Hey, Joyce, I was going to reach out about the AI project thing I'm working on, but I realized I don't have your number." Well, I'm not going to actually call Joyce and get her on the phone. I actually talked to, and this was back in February 20. I've been trying to get this girl in. That was February 27th, and so almost a month later. And then she had text back, her number on that same day. And then I responded, "Okay, awesome. Do you have some time in the next day or so to jump on a quick Zoom call to share the details?" That's my script. I'm trying to get them on a Zoom, right? So basically that's it. "Okay, awesome. Do you have some time in the next day or so to jump on a quick Zoom call?" The reason why I asked for their number, because I almost always get people on a Zoom call, almost every time. Is because if I get them on a Zoom call and I can't get back in front of them, now I have their number to drip them. So now I have their phone number, and now I can voice text them. I'm trying to get a guy in today, and he was on Facebook Messenger. Sometimes he responds on there. I'm supposed to follow through with him today, and then he's not responding on there. So then I texted him a voice text just now. And so you can go back and forth. That's what you're doing. So we're all playing the game. It's just being consistent in the game that you're playing. Does that make sense? And so the biggest thing, as I would say, excitement and belief when you're contacting, and you can role play, you can practice this technique, right? So like when you're on the phone, when Nicole was making that follow through earlier, she didn't have she didn't sound confident in what she was saying, trying to get in front of that guy. So I was like, "Babe, redo it." I was like, when you do it, smile. Do you realize like when you smile when you're on the phone, people can tell you're smiling? You know what I'm saying? They can tell, "Hey, Nate, what's going on, man?" Like, isn't it hard not to be happy when you're smiling, talking? Like if I call Nate, I'm like, "Nate, what's going on, bro?" And I'm smiling, he's gonna like, "Kirk, what are you doing? What's going on, dude? I'm in." He's like, I know you're up to something, right? So he's gonna be like, so these are all little techniques. And so then if I want to, I like, "Nate," I lower my tone. "Dude, I'm working on something. You're gonna love this, dude. When can you get on a Zoom?" So I take my pitch down, and then now it's a secret, and he wants to know about the secret, right? These are just all little techniques that you can learn in voice tonality and stuff like that come across. I'll end on this. So people know if they believe what you're pushing, right? I can't wait to tell Tom the story when I'm in person. I'm gonna wait to tell him this because he's gonna love this story. But anyways, I had a guy, and he's been he's done well in the industry, and I was trying to get him in, and he starts telling me on the phone. He goes, "Kirk, I'm not leaving my company. I've made millions in this company." And I could tell he was lying. He's made money, but he's not made millions. I could literally just tell he was lying. I literally go, "I don't believe you," just like that. And then he was like, because I could just tell in his voice, he wasn't convicted that he'd made millions in this company. And I said, "I don't believe you." And then, and so then he started backstepping, and I have a good enough relationship with him that I could do this with him. And then I was like, as we kept going, then it went from millions that I've made six figures, right? So what he was saying, he didn't even believe himself, and I picked up on it right away. So when you're out there and you're contacting, are you convicted about what we're doing? Do you really believe that this is the best thing on the planet? I do. I believe there is no other business that you could possibly get involved with right now than this. I believe that this thing is going to be huge and massive. I believe that if you do anything else, you're stupid. Any other network marketing company, you're just not, that might be a little strong. And I'm not, if you're doing something else, it's okay. That's my personal belief. And that's why I'm getting results, because there's nothing else on the planet, right? There's an old analogy when I forget, it's a book, it's very famous, where these guys, they went to go conquer this land. And when they went to go conquer the land, they burned the boats so they couldn't go back. There was no plan B. So they burned the boats, and then they had to go take the land. So if you're on this call today, are you going to burn your boat and there's no plan B to where you can't go back? And people want to hear that. People want to know that this is real. Can I trust you? Right? And that's where your belief has to come. So when you're on there, it's the whole saying, if you let yourself on fire, people will come and watch you burn. Right? So get passionate about what you're doing. You can say all the wrong things. You could say, we're all, this is whatever. But if you're passion and conviction, all that is awesome. People are like, dude, I don't know what Kirk's doing. He sounds really stupid, but he sounds really excited. I'm going to take a look at what he's got. Right. And so that's the thing. Come across as all those things. It doesn't really matter. What you're saying, it's the music that they're hearing in the background.
So good, buddy. It's awesome. Y'all got a really good master class today with Kurt, Nicole, and Nate chiming in the beginning. Appreciate you, buddy. Y'all have a blessed day. This Saturday we might either this Saturday or next week for sure. I think it would be good to go through the framework of what do you do on that Zoom. I mean, the I have 5 steps. What I do is I find out about them more, find out if they have any question, just, what do they like about what they saw, or what based on the video. Um, just really just ask a lot of questions, find out what questions they have. I learned how to answer questions as simple as possible without, and then I get some positive feedback and I say, great. And I'm very assumptive and I say, great, welcome aboard. Let's go ahead and get you rocking and help you make that extra $5,000 and get you to Hawaii and create more freedom and create more leverage. I can get you set up right now. And I'm very assumptive. Like it's just what we do. Let's change your life. Let me walk you through it right now. And we'll go through that a little bit more detail next week or Saturday. We might have some time to go through those steps because when you learn the framework of enrolling, you can do it. In fact, it's so funny. I got to end with a story. I literally was driving, looking at dream homes yesterday. And I was driving down this remote area in Del Mar, California, which is a beach area. There's the properties in Del Mar are very small, and they're all like 2 million just for the land, for like this little quarter of an acre kind of a thing. And anyways, there's this one piece of property up in the hills, it's actually an acre. But as I was driving down this remote road, this woman stopped. She was like, "Do you live here?" I'm like, "No, I'm just looking for properties and stuff like that." She's like, "Oh, funny enough, I'm selling my home." And she literally is like, "Are you serious about buying?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." And then she gets me to the home, and then after we're done, she's like, "So do you want to buy my home?" I'm like, no wonder why this woman's a multimillionaire selling a $3.5 million home in the mountain of Del Mar, California, right? And it's a complete fixer-upper home, by the way, for 3.5 million. But it was just interesting how she just was so assumptive, like, are you gonna buy it? Anyways, so I'm not saying you have to be like that, but there's a strategy to being assumptive and just getting people started. So y'all, thank you so much. A little bit longer, but we only do this really in-depth training once a week right now. And I know other leaders do different trainings as well. But yeah, be very assumptive. Y'all have a blessed week, and we'll see you Saturday. Do whatever it takes to get every single human on your team on this Saturday. It's going to be an amazing super Saturday, as they all are. Kurt, Nicole, or I keep saying Kurt, Nicole. Kurt, thanks for being on, buddy. Nate, Marla, thank you for leading this. Wouldn't happen this seamless without you. Appreciate you so much. And all of you, congratulations for being on the little bit long Zoom. Nikki, you're amazing. Change your perspective, go make it happen, and change someone's life today. God bless. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. You can unmute if y'all want. Good to see you, Corey. Good to see you, Christina. Dana Porter, welcome. Danielle Goodman. Easton, what's up, champ? Jamie.
Okay.
Hi, Jill. Judith, good to see you, Judith. Hi, Lori.
Hi, Tom.
Nevada's in the house, y'all. Nick Bramble, I didn't know you're on here, buddy. Good to see you, bud. Sandra, Sandy. Hi, Sandy. Siobhan, I'm getting it, I think. Sissy, hey, Tammy. Theron, what's up, champion? Taylor, good to see you, buddy. All right, y'all, have a blessed day.
Bye, everyone.